What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Game Plan, your NFL divisional round, best bets, and DFS, and some props show. With me, as always, to break this thing down, John Statsational Alesia from the Sharp app. We're going to be taking a look at the four divisional round games. We're going to get some spread bets. We're going to talk a little bit of DFS, a little fantasy, a little goodness. How'd it go last weekend, John?
We had a good week last week. I think the only game on the sides that I lost was Cleveland. Pretty much nailed all the other ones. I liked Miami. I think I mentioned it on the show, but I just didn't like them in that weather. So I had to go with the models all had Miami, but I had to go with Kansas City just based on the weather. And then all the other ones, just the model just had them all right. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, never bad thing. Listen, I had my mega monster can't lose. Nothing is going to stop me now. Parlay get busted by Dallas and their horrific, disastrous at-home performance. Embarrassing, really. It really, honestly, was embarrassing for Dallas. To do that, it's beyond anything else. You fucked me. I had Dallas. I had them at +6. I figured no lose. And then, of course, I saw that you had taken
to Green Bay.
Yeah, I took the Packers. And then I was extra pissed at myself because I was like, man, I could have just added 13 to the Packers. And that probably wasn't losing either, but that was a bummer. We'll see if we could come up with one for this week, but we've got a lot to break down. I've got some prop plays that I've picked out from the Proptimizer tool as well. I'm going to show that as well. We'll do the first two games. We'll jump over, talk some props. And then we'll do the final two games if that works and kind of format it that way. Just because I'm trying to think of a way to break this bad boy down. So that's kind of how I want to do it. And it gets started here with the Texans at the Ravens, Saturday, 4:30. The Ravens are 9.5-point home favorites in this one. Total set at 43.5. John, do you know of any weather situations or anything we got to be concerned about in Baltimore? I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything either as far as the weather goes. But I'm not sure it's going to matter either way. I think this is going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough one for Houston. Let's see. I mean, if the weather's not good, let's see right now. That's the Saturday game. It's going to be cold, which doesn't help. Cold and windy. Yeah, 27.
Nothing scary there. I am looking at the Sharp report on Sharp app, and the mega sharps, not just the regular, the mega sharps, which are my favorite sharp bettors, are on Baltimore under 44.5. So the sharpest bettors are kind of looking for a down game in terms of scoring here.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree with that. And I mean, the line is tough. You know, we're up there close to 10 points. Houston can obviously score. With the sharps thinking this game is going to go under, typically you like to take the points in that situation when you've got a lot of points like this at 9.5. So, you know, I don't love the game. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a tough one for this is going to be a tough game for Houston. I think the quarterback struggles here a little bit. Being a rookie quarterback, I know he had just one game under his belt. I mean, he's had a phenomenal season, obviously, but you know, Harbaugh, that team with a week off, they're probably the best team in football right now. This is a tough matchup, I think, for Houston. That under I do like, and typically, like I said, if you like the under, you're gonna want to take the points. But I think that under is more weighing on the fact that they think Houston's going to struggle here. I think Houston's going to have a hard time putting points up on the board.
Yeah, 3 of my prop bets are actually from this game. They're coming up. I'll save them for like a segment we'll do on the prop bets, but 3 of them are coming from this game, and they're all kind of pointing to the downside as well. The one thing that concerns me about laying 10, John, is I hate laying. I mean, teams coming off a bye usually start slow. Like there's something to that where they're a little, I don't know, maybe not this late in the season, but we've seen it where it takes a minute to sort of get back into things. The offense isn't quite clicking perfectly in that first quarter. And sometimes they start a little bit slow. So that issue is kind of like keeping me off of this idea of laying 10. I'm not laying 10 in a playoff game. So that's really the one concern I would have. The Texans got it done last week against a great defensive team, but they were at home. And the Browns may be kind of a little better at home than on the road, especially defensively this season. So I'm not sure the Texans can keep that miraculous ability to dominate elite defenses going here. I think they're going to run into some trouble in Baltimore. The Baltimore is a team of destiny. As far as DFS plays, yeah, I'm focused on the Baltimore side. I think Lamar Jackson is one of the best, one of the better, I'm not going to say the best, but up there as one of the best plays of the weekend in terms of just raw plays. What I like about this game is the Texans have sort of an elite rush defense this year, which should increase the likelihood, at least for me, that the scoring comes off of the arm of Lamar or the leg of the kicker, rather than necessarily thinking Gus Edwards is going to smash home, a big game against what is a pretty good Texans run defense. I don't know how you feel, but obviously those come from the power ranking sheet, so I'm sure you would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the running game for the Baltimore may have a little bit of trouble, which leads to more touchdowns via the pass. As far as who those touchdowns go to, say Flowers, I don't know. Likely they're talking about Mark Andrews may be coming back for this game. So it's going to be tricky who they're going to throw to, but I do like Lamar as a play here. I like him stacked with, say, Flowers in your DFS games. And I've got some props for this game that we'll talk about here in a minute. So on your end, no real side here, though, other than maybe the under.
Yeah, I don't love the side. I mean, I would tend to lean with the sharp, especially those mega sharp plays. I mean, for people unfamiliar with the Sharp app, that's the Sharp report that you're referring to. I mean, the mega sharp stuff is when we've got, I think, 4 or more sharps at this particular sportsbook that we have access to are on one side of a game, that gets put in the mega sharp spot, and it crushes. I like to just look at that. I think you just look at that one. Like you just play the mega sharp stuff, don't you?
I've started tracking it as of yesterday. We went 2 for 2. We've got 2 bets in for Friday night. So, I'll keep you informed on this one. But so far,
no, the mega sharp's been good. And then the whale's been crazy.
Yeah,
that's the big better. It's like, I think I don't have I got to bring up the numbers in front of me, but the run that he's on has been remarkable. So the guys in the Discord have been just losing their mind, just all playing the whales bets. Yeah, and he's been on a run.
Yeah,
that,
we have
not sustainable, but it's just an unbelievable run right now.
I like the mega sharps because it gives me like 4 or 5 people on the same thing. One of the things I've noticed is when you tail those plays, if you don't hit them quick, they've already moved. Those guys are moving markets. So almost all those plays that are being put out, they're beating certainly the final line, but they're even beating the lines that you're getting. So you got to be all over.
These are the guys in the market that move the line. Like I try to explain to most people, like the general public does not move a line. It's the sharp guys that are going to move a line, because if they leave that line where it is, they're just going to get hammered by more sharp money, and the sharp money is the smarter money. So they don't want to leave themselves at rest. So that's why almost always. And the other thing I like to look at when you're looking at these sharp plays, if the sharp guys, especially a mega sharp, if they come in, like if that Baltimore game was 45.5 right now, that would be a really strong reverse line.
If it goes against the mega sharps, that is the ultimate. Yeah,
then you have to fade it. But the fact that it's moved in the sharps direction here, they went under 44.5, and now it's at 43.5. That's a pretty good indication that that's the smart side to be on.
There it is. So right here in the sharp report, you got the mega sharps every single day. That's literally something I wake up early for. I have to wake up early. I want to get that in before those lines move too much. All right. Next up, John, we've got the Packers at the 49ers. And again, this is like a mirror image of that first game, where you've got a scrappy Packers team that's coming in, beating great defensive teams, going up against a great defensive team coming up. It's like the same game, the same freaking spread of 9. What is going on? It's like 2 mirror image games, both with a young up and coming QB on one side and a grizzly veteran, elite defensive team on the other side. It's crazy, John. It's 2 mirror image games.
Yeah, I like one of the sides here. I mean, I love San Francisco to minus the points. I'm not big on laying a lot of points. I think it's warranted in this game. I think you can lay the 9.5 with San Francisco. The public yeah, I love a game like this. I mean, yeah, again, you're right. You're coming off Houston coming off a really impressive performance last week. Green Bay off an impressive performance. I just don't think this Green Bay team is nearly as good as what they showed last week. A lot of that had to do with Dallas. And then if you look, granted, a lot of it was garbage time, but Dallas put up a ton of yardage on them. I know it was garbage time. You say that, but watch these games. Look at these games every week. Like I always tell these people, like, in DFS, you know this from playing like in the Millie Makers and all that. How many times people take the big 7-point underdog because they're like, well, they're down. They're going to get garbage time points. Well, they don't. Like, teams don't typically get garbage time points. Dallas did. All right. Granted, like I said, it was garbage time, but Dallas had that game just snowballed. That's the way the NFL is. They had a couple of early turnovers in that game, but Dallas, they didn't look great moving the ball early, but were able to put point. They were able to move the ball late. Again, they had a big cushion to work with. I think San Francisco just rolls on them from the get-go in this game. If this game is remotely close at the half, then I want you to play a second half on San Francisco bet. So I'll give you the live bet before it happens. If if this is like a 7-point game or so at halftime, then go ahead and take San Francisco second half, because then they're gonna run over them. So San Fran, I love in this spot.
I like it. And on that note, for both of these first games, what I would say is to keep if the underdog comes in and scores first, for example, and you can get the line now at like -5 instead of -9.5, that is a spot where I like to jump on the live market for spots like that as well. This game's really interesting in the sense that it's got such a massive total at 50.5 points. And I want to go back to something I talked about for DFS last week, and it holds true again. So last week, and John, I got hate from this, by the way. You don't see the hate that comes in the comments section.
What happened? What'd you do?
Ignore it. I get the hate, right? And so last week I said, hey, I'm just fading Jordan Love, and I'm just going to play Dak in this spot. And I feel the same way about the favorites in the two games we just discussed. But I had a reasoning for it. And the reasoning was, and it's the same reason I always talk about, I said, basically, I feel like if the underdog QB, and I'll say it for this game, if Jordan Love in this game is producing points, I think that the 49ers are answering even more bigly, right? Similarly, with the Ravens and the Texans, if the Texans come in and start scoring, I think the Ravens turn it up. And the one who's going to benefit the most from that is not CJ Stroud. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. And I said the same thing. Now, I didn't expect the Texans to come in and destroy Dallas last week, but I said, let's fade. You want to fade Jordan Love, because if that game is going a certain way, it's going to be Dak that's getting more points. Now, it did go a certain way, but it didn't go how I thought. But the end result was the same. Dak was the play in that game, the home favorite. He's going to answer. It's not going to be a roll over and die situation. You might have the Packers roll over and die if the 49ers are dominating in that game early and we get one of those sort of games. But if the Packers are scoring, I think the one who's benefiting the most is not Jordan Love. It's Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey and pass catchers attached to the 49ers. So I'm going to be doing the same thing in DFS this week, because pretty much I'm not going to have much of any Jordan Love. I will get my exposure to him via players on the 49ers that will benefit even more if he's having a good game. So it's even more apparent with the Texans-Ravens game, where if the Texans are scoring and if they're getting it done, if CJ Stroud is having a big game, Lamar Jackson, I think, having a bigger game.
I totally agree. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking Stroud's going to have too big of a game. I'm not optimistic on that. I think Lamar, one way or another, has a monster game.
On that note, since we talked about Stroud in a big game, I want to bring up the Proptimizer tool here as we're halfway through these games and talk about a couple of spots that I've picked out. And one of them, right here, pretty much the biggest play on the Proptimizer for this weekend, the top play across the board. And I love when it's not hitting in the histogram. That's even better. But the top play on the board this weekend is CJ Stroud under 238.5 passing yards. You can see here, you can get that one on Draftkings. Actually, the best version of it looks to be, let's see, on Draftkings here, we can get it at plus 105. That is the play, right? Now, he's not hitting that most weeks, but we have CJ Stroud projected for just 201 passing yards. That's as good of a Proptimizer pull as you're ever going to see, and it is the top play on the board. Couple other ones that I wanted to mention as well. Singletary in that game over on rushing attempts. This is one of the more accurate Proptimizer spots that I like to attack. I think our projections for rushing attempts is really, really good. So I like the over 15.5 rushing attempts for Singletary. Baltimore is a tougher team to pass on than to run on this season, and Singletary is literally getting almost all of the volume for Houston right there. So sticking with these two games, another one that I really like, and again, it's right along lines of what we're talking about, Jordan Love under 249 passing yards. We have him projected here at 226 passing yards. That's a significant enough margin. And again, this is a bet that has not been hitting. Oh, you would only be hitting at a 20% rate, and I kind of like that.
What do you think on this? I'm just looking at the Proptimizer now. The first one, because I look at the receptions, the top reception one is Bo Melton in this game.
Yeah, total receptions. It's a plus 175
to get over 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, I think the Packers need an injury for this to work out, so I don't like it. But I mean, at plus 175,
plus 175. I mean, he had one last week.
Yeah,
got to get you two. They had injuries, but I mean, he hit it 3 out of. If you look at the last 5, he's hit it.
They're too healthy now, John. There's too many. As they said in a Braveheart, the Irishman, about the English, the receivers are too many. Too many of them.
I think at plus 175 though, that's too good a.
Yeah, plus 175 is fine. Like I said, I like it's plus.
You like the guaranteed winners.
I like the guaranteed winners.
Are never guaranteed, but
because the hate comes at me in the chat, and whenever
you don't want to get plus 175 when it's not more than 50% chance of hitting.
Yeah, like you have to understand.
I give those out all day. I mean, I'll take plus 175 on him to get 2. I mean, to me, he's a lock to get 1. Easily gets 2, and then who knows?
I just think I don't like if somebody was hurt, I would be much more into this. But I think that you're going to get.
Well, you wouldn't get plus 175.
No, you wouldn't, or maybe you would, because these don't react as quickly to that type of news. But I don't know how much Christian Watson's going to play. The dude has a perennial Q tag. There's just issues there. So
if Watson's in, then it changes things.
He is in the game, like he's playing. That's what I'm saying. Like
he's never. Problem is, how many snaps is he gonna? Does he
that I have no idea. He's perennially hurt. Anyway, if you want access to the Sharp Report and the Proptimizer tool, fucking Proptimizer fire T-shirt. By the way, this T-shirt.
I didn't even see you wearing it.
It competes with the DFS Army swag shirt, and comfort. So I got to give props to whoever picked this one out.
Yeah, I gotta get some. I don't have my Proptimizer swag.
I gotta get some gear. But if you want to get access to this stuff, DFSA 20 for my DFS Army YouTube channel people. Promo code DFSA 20.
And Andrews will not be activated.
Oh, they're saying no.
Just got
So that shoots likely up to one of certainly one of the best plays at tight end and at the better end of the plays on this entire slate. But if you want to check out Sharp app, you can download it. Sharp.app is the website. You can download it on iOS or Android. Get access to the Proptimizer tool, the Sharp Report, which is crushing, the Mega Sharps, all of that. Follow along with my journey on the Mega Sharps as well. I'll be doing videos on that at some point when I get around to it. Promo code DFSA 20% off of that subscription. There's a Discord. John's dropping his plays in the Discord all throughout the day, and the rest of the Sharp crew, they've actually been crushing it. So definitely something to check out. And if you're a DFS Army subscriber, YouTube guy, if you have access to a sports book, this is where you want to be. You want to be in part of the Sharp app team in the Discord. All right, let's move on to Sunday, John. First game at a weird time. 3:02 p.m. Why? I don't know. The Bucks at the Lions. Yeah. What are they doing, John?
3:02. I'm just looking at the
3 o'clock. What, am I seeing this wrong? This game starts at 3?
Yeah, it's 3. Yeah, 3 o'clock. Well, okay. I feel like have they done that in the past? I don't know. It's probably a smart idea.
Well, it's because there's no night game, so they figure let's just make it. You know what? This helps me. I have to fly to Florida on Sunday morning.
Oh, there you go. Now
this is beneficial to me. I can actually now get there, get settled in, and enter my lineups. Before I might be able to get to the hotel before this is ready to go. So I might be able to do a little more adjustments of my lineups here. But Bucks at the Lions. The Lions are 6.5 point home favorites. The game total set at 49.5. And John, this one stands out as the sexy game of the weekend in terms of upside, in terms of action. We're in a dome. I love this game. This is the best of the games, I think.
It should be. I mean, we got the but the total, that total is low. I was going to say, without even thinking about the totals, I do like that Green Bay San Francisco game to be some points as well. We didn't really talk about that much, but Tampa Detroit on paper looks like it should be fairly high scoring. Should be a good DFS game. If you look at what's gone over the last 5 or 6 weeks, though, not as sexy as you would think. Like that Green Bay San Fran game pops a little bit more when I'm looking at the last 5 weeks, just from a fantasy perspective. But as far as the game, I don't know if you like a side or not on the game.
It's tough to take a side here. I do like the Lions to win the game. I don't think that the offensive firepower that the Bucs have is enough to handle what the Lions bring in terms of their offensive firepower. Those 2 running backs, the tight end is healthy with Laporta, of course, Amon-Ra. There's just too much going on for the Lions. I think they win this game. I would love it to be, I'd love to buy it down. Listen, I like winning. So for me, I feel like I want it within 2.5. Like I'd rather take the Lions minus 2.5 than the 6.5 number, of course, because I'm a puss like that. Keep it real. But then this is a prime candidate for the basic teaser just to take it down to a win. I think right now this one stands out to me because I do think the Lions are going to win at home. I feel confident in it. Will they cover 6.5? I don't know. But I definitely like the Lions side. I would, if I have to lay the full spread, I'm taking the Lions minus 6.5.
Yeah, I would lean that way as well. I like the Lions side of the game. I think it does go over.
The Sharps love it on the over. The Sharps have bet the over up from 48 to 49.5.
Yep. Yeah, from 48. So I do think it goes over as well. I think we're going to see high scoring. I think that Green Bay San Fran game is going to be high scoring. I mean, this game's going to be high scoring. Yeah, that 6.5 is a tough number. Don't love it, but I do think Detroit wins the game. Most likely they cover. You saw the news conference or the press conference with the reporter asking how they would handle the weather in Detroit. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that?
What's this? Or
there was a female reporter asking Todd Bowles how they would handle the weather in Detroit.
Did he just smile?
He did just smile and then explained to her that they're in a dome. I don't think she was. I think she was like someone just like kind of filling in. I don't think she really
was like. How would she know it was in a dome?
So it was a local. I think it was just someone local.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny. So.
You're in Tampa, so you saw that, by the way. That I don't know.
This was all over social media.
That is a national story.
Pat McAfee played it. Pat McAfee played it.
Oh boy! All right, so
it was all over.
The total. Yeah, I think you're playing the overside. Again, I would love to get it at the sharp number of 48. It's at 49.5 now, but the fact that it's moving in that direction tells you something. There's a lot of DFS goodness to be had in this game, John. This is the game for that on both sides. It's not. Listen, there's a lot of DFS goodness this weekend. This one is the back and forth affair that I think looks really attractive on paper. And there's so many. The hard part about the Lions and just playing Jared Goff in general is those 2 running backs will vulture aggressively. And sometimes they won't. And you never really know how that's going to go down. So for me, Goff is a GPP play. He's that guy you want in large field because if it just happens to be that Montgomery isn't stealing a touchdown and Gibbs isn't stealing a touchdown, then that's when you get Goff 300 plus and 3 touchdowns passing. So he can break the slate open, but he has one of the lower floors because these running backs can eat most of it. And I could see those guys getting 3 of the touchdowns and then Goff only having 1 via the arm. And you still get the 4 scores, 7, 14, 21, 28, that this projection expects the Lions to put up. So it's just, hey, if we're going to get 4 or 5 touchdowns, how many of them? Goff needs 3 to win the slate for us. And can he get the full 3? Don't know. That means that would be out of the norm for him, where usually the running backs are taking 50% of the touchdowns. On the flip side with the Bucs, I think that technically Man, it's not a bad spot. I haven't played Baker Mayfield yet this season, maybe just barely ever. I don't love it, but you know, the Lions are decent against the run. They're very bad. They're allowing a lot of passing yards this year. I think 30 yards above mean expectation according to the power ranking sheet. So it's not a bad spot for the Bucs passing offense. Of course, I like Mike Evans. Of course, I like Godwin a smidge. I don't love him, but I don't mind him. Trey Palmer and even K-Dot in the tight end. So and Rachaad White, who catches passes. There's a lot to like in this game on both ends. How do you feel about playing Baker on the road as an underdog?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it here. You know, you could play a little bit differently than on a full slate. I like Baker as one of the best options here. I think they're going to go off as far as I think I think it's going to be mostly Evans. So I think you're pretty safe to kind of stack it Baker, Evans, and play those two. So I think if you want to go with Baker, I got no problem with that. I mean, you could go Godwin. I would just be careful. Like Trey Palmer was like one bomb last week. Like don't get too caught up in that, So I think Evans had a bad drop on a bomb last week. Otherwise, he had a big one.
In my breakdown in the first look at DraftKings, I was talking about how if Evans catches that pass, then you go from like no one wanting to really be excited about this team to Evans being the highest owned guy on the slate. Like that drop was the difference in his score of like a 7 versus a 23. It is wild how one little thing like that can just affect perceptions.
He's going to be big. He's going to be big this week. This is Detroit against the wide receivers are just, they've been terrible all year, but they've been especially bad in the last few weeks. So I really like that spot.
And again, in the dome, perfect temperature, weather conditions, no defensive players on Detroit that particularly scare you in the secondary. There's a lot going on there that's really good. So I like the chances of this game playing higher. And yeah, again, I'm not a big play Baker Mayfield guy, but he has 2 scores over 30 fantasy points on the season. If he hits the 30 mark, you are winning the tournament. That is your tournament winning quarterback. I promise you, even if Josh Allen goes for 37, the savings down to Baker is going to be what wins it. So he doesn't need to quite do as much as the others. And my goodness, imagine if he runs one in, slate breaker. You're going to watch it and go, there it is. So, all out to ball out game. I don't mind playing some of the Bucs here. The Lions, everybody looks good. And of course, those Lions running backs are going to be like the GPP, especially Jahmyr Gibbs is like the ultimate tournament play. 14 touches, range of 7 fantasy points to 33. It's, somewhere in between. You never know. Can't trust them. Of course, Rachaad White should be super popular as well. Last game. And this normally would be a really, really exciting game. I do like this game a lot, John. The Chiefs at the Bills. The Bills are 2.5-point home favorites here. This is the one game that I feel this weekend, the outcome is not kind of relatively secure. By that, I mean, I comfortably feel that the favorites are going to win in the first 3 games on the slate. This one, I'm not sure. I think the Chiefs can be competitive. I think the Bills can be competitive. I think both of these teams have looked horrible at times. And both defenses are pretty good. This is the widest range of outcomes and the game that I'm least confident in the winner in. How do you see this one going down? Are you taking some Chiefs on the road? Is this the Bills season? Who advances?
Yeah, I like the Bills here. I think they win this game. They've just been the better team. I mean, certainly in the last couple of months they have been. Kansas City still not right. I think they got lucky to win last week just because of the fact that they got that game in sub-zero weather, playing Miami, playing against Tua. Like that was the perfect scenario for Kansas City. They're getting cold, not nearly as cold this week, but cold in Buffalo, which, no big deal for the Bills. This becomes, I think it just becomes the offense of Buffalo. I trust what's going on with their offense a lot more than Kansas City. Now, the Kansas City defense is excellent. Buffalo defense, not as good as the Kansas City defense, but I think Buffalo is going to do enough. I think Kansas City struggles to put points on the board. I know we had Sharp. You mention the Did you mention we had sharps on the under? Buffalo
Yeah, the
under
sharps are.
46.5?
I think we showed it before. Not the mega sharps, but
Yeah.
the standard sharps
There
are
are
betting
multiple
Buffalo
sharps
under
on the
46.5.
Now it
It's already
hasn't.
moved.
Yeah, it's moved it a little bit. So it moved it from 46.5 to 45.5. So that's pretty much in line with what you would expect on when the sharps are taking the under 46.5. I still think this game goes under that number as well. So I like the under. I think both teams are going to struggle to score. I like what Josh Allen is doing a little bit more. So I think this is a team. When I did my analysis for the potential Super Bowl winners, Buffalo was one of the stronger teams on that in that analysis. It was basically Buffalo, San Francisco, Baltimore, and Dallas. Dallas got knocked out, obviously, but I think Buffalo, this is their time. I think Buffalo's got a really good shot to get to the Super Bowl. So I think they win this week. This has not been Kansas City's year. I think this is about as far as you could have hoped for them to go with the team, with the current construction of this team. And yeah, I really like Buffalo. I think they win this.
I feel like you're convincing me. You're bringing me along. I do remember. I mean, this was one of my favorite game plan shows of the season was last week when we went over all of the metrics for potential Super Bowl contenders. It was one of my favorites. We can do more like that. And yeah, you're right. The Chiefs really kind of stood out as a pretender. The Bills were legit, much more legit, kind of like have real shot to get to the Super Bowl. And if they get past the Chiefs here, yeah, I mean, the Bills can beat the Ravens. They've played, that could go either way. So, yeah, it kind of convinced me a little bit. I do love the DFS goodness potential from this game. There's a lot of it. So just on both, number one, I think Josh Allen remains, even in a game, even with a lower total than some of the other games. I think he's the top play at QB probably on this slate. Josh Allen just knows he just gets it done. No matter what the total, no matter how many points the team scores, he seems to get you that 25 plus every single week. He's the most expensive guy, but he has the highest potential ceiling, or one of the higher potential ceilings. Maybe I'll even put it above Lamar's, just a smidge above there. So in order for him to get there, I don't even think this game needs to spike. I think if it just plays out like this, I think Josh Allen could get us 32, and that'll be enough. Stephon Diggs is finally priced down, actually, to a point where he's now correctly valued against what he's been doing or what he does traditionally, even though he's been terrible for week after week after week. Now, Stephon Diggs, 7K Diggs, is a lot more interesting to me than 8.6K Diggs. So I don't like that one. Dalton Kincaid is probably my favorite pass catcher on the team. And then of course, James Cook is one of the running backs that you have to be interested in this week because there's not that many to choose from. And like from a DFS angle, John, just between you and I, this week is going to be not between you and I, but just to get into it. Like when you talk about position groups outside of Christian McCaffrey, like running back, picking a second one is probably going to be how you win this week, and maybe probably not having a third one.
Yeah, don't love it. Don't love running backs. I don't love this game particularly. So I think it's my least favorite game. Josh Allen's always in play, but other than that, I'm not excited.
Rashee Rice also, he's getting those targets. Can't dislike that. Isaiah Pacheco is possibly the best running back play, not named Christian McCaffrey for me. So even as an underdog, as a road dog, when Pacheco's getting all the touches and passing game work, you cannot ignore Pacheco. Do you like somebody more than Pacheco at RB2 for this slate?
As RB2?
Yeah, I mean, Chris McCaffrey's such an obvious play that.
McCaffrey's the nuts here.
So I'll bring it up here. Hang on. Let me show. I don't want to put you on the spot. Haven't thought it through enough. So let me just put it up on screen, right? And I'm going to put it up on screen. See if I can.
The problem is you've got Singletary, but if that game gets out of hand, how much work does he get?
Yeah. Well, Singletary's an underdog. Yeah, Singletary's fine. But I'll show you the options. You got Aaron Jones at San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Gibbs and Montgomery always bring the same concerns. I like Gibbs. I do like Gibbs here. But the floor is low. He's only getting 13. He's only actually maybe it's Rashad White that's the best of them. But like Gibbs is getting I'll give you a negative on White also, but Gibbs, he's getting that same 15, 17 touches. And sometimes it leads to a pop, and sometimes it leads to shit. So, like last week, he only got 12 touches. He lucked into the 17 with a touchdown. Rashad White. We like White. I don't know about that. Rashad White, his ceiling is about 24, which is fine if he gets there. It's not necessarily 4X, but I do like Rashad White. But you saw the floor the last couple of weeks against the Eagles. I mean, if he's not getting in the end zone, 8, 9, 12, the scores aren't. He's not breaking the slate open more often. I like him. It's fine. James Cook, same deal, and Pacheco. I mean, who do you go with? Who's your second button click, John?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'm just trying to see where I could go really cheap, but you really can't. I would be looking at the Baltimore game. I'd look at either Edwards or Singletary.
I think my concern with Edwards is you're talking about an elite run defense in Houston.
Yeah. Well,
or a really good one in terms of like the power rankings show them allowing, I think, 20, 25 yards below mean. But also Edwards only gets carries. He doesn't get receptions. And if he doesn't at 6K, the way I figured it out, he needs 2 touchdowns to be relevant.
It's a 4-game slate. That's why I'm just looking maybe to go just down. And I'm trying to see anyone who can get me like 10, 12 points at a cheap price, because I don't think you're not getting 25 points.
Is it really that different if I go down to Edwards versus Rashad White? I think Rashad White gets you the 10, 12, 13 points for 6,500 at minimum. I think Gibbs can get you there at 66. It's like, who's breaking the slate, though?
Got to see, because I want to pay up on wide receiver here. So
the only cheapie that I'm interested in, the only guy, sub Singletary price, I think Justice Hill carries some interest because he's getting work. 10 targets.
Yeah, I was contemplating that.
Yeah. I've considered him. So, whatever happened in that last game is not super relevant. But even before that, 5 targets, some carries, 10 carries, 3 targets. So they worked in Justice Hill quite a bit. And I do like Justice Hill as that pay down option that I don't think a lot of people are going to be on. He's projecting right around 10% ownership, which is really low. It's really low. Let's get back to, so I think running back RB2 is going to be really interesting for the 4-game slate anyway. How are you? Do you differentiate? Do you like the 4-gamer, the 2-gamer? Are you doing them all? Don't care? Don't matter to you?
I play them all in the showdowns, So
and the showdowns.
Yeah.
I get too tired. Like, I can't do all 4 showdowns.
It's a lot.
Yeah, because I'm tinkering. I'm tinkering up until the last second. So I need to just do the 4-game slate. But then I can do the late showdown, but I can't do the early one because it just distracts me. I'm always impressed that you're able to just run lineups in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if you got time, like, you pretty much know who's playing here. So
gotta start now.
Yeah.
John, I think that's it for the game plan for this week. So far, from my let's see, from my memory here, we like the Bills -2.5. We like the Lions. Maybe move that line. Maybe a teaser. Lions, 49ers, Ravens. A little 6-point teaser. Get a little plus money going there. But
I don't like that, but go ahead.
I know you hate the teasers. You hate the fucking teasers. I like the teaser. I don't care. I'm doing it. But yeah, John don't like the teasers. But you said you would lay the 9.5 for the 49ers and potentially lay the 9.5 for the Ravens. So it's an all favorites party. Probably as it should be for round 2 of the playoffs. So expect the expected, I guess, this week. That's going to do it for the game plan. Divisional round. Remember, John is in the Sharp app Discord 24/7, answering questions, dropping plays, explaining how to use the high-level tools available on the Sharp app. So check out the Sharp app Discord. Get into Sharp app. Promo code DFSA20. 20% off that subscription price. There is no better. If you bet on sports, that is where you want to be. You'd have to, just the Sharp report alone is worth it. Just the Proptimizer top props tool is enough. And then, of course, the Discord, follow all the bets, all that good stuff. So make sure to check that out and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video content. Let us know if you are tailing the plays in the comment section below. Send me your hate. I'll absorb it. I'm like a hate absorption machine if you need to. You know, they did not like that you shit on the Eagles before last week either, John. My Eagles Nation was not happy.
Well, they're really not happy after that game then.
Well, then they saw it happen. They're like, yep, John was right.
I mean, the team was a fraud with a PH the entire season. So
I thought they should have gotten rid of the coach.
I don't know. But that team wasn't that good. So I don't know what people expected. Like when they shit all over the power rankings when they were 6. They made it up to 6 at 10-1. They're like, how this is the best team that's ever been assembled. I'm like, yeah, okay. We'll see.
The numbers. And I, like I said, so people were not happy with that. But you know what, Eagles fans? I'll tell you this right now. Same thing happened to the Rams last year, and they came back strong the next year. Like sometimes you need a kick in the ass to come back strong. That little Super Bowl hangover thing. Who knows?
Possible.
Yeah.
They better shore up the defense.
Yeah, shore up that defense. Get better. All right, that's going to do it for the game plan. NFL divisional round. We will see you guys next time. Like, subscribe, notify, and good luck this weekend.